Because of Barr's public statements, there was a lot of skepticism today about how much of the report would be redacted. And at first glance, much of it is not. There is a lot of transparency, but one issue swims in a sea of black. When it comes to details about the Trump campaign and the distribution of those hacked emails from WikiLeaks, the report goes dark for pages and pages. The reason, it might cause harm to an ongoing criminal matter. We know that Trump's longtime informal advisor, Roger Stone, is facing trial for allegedly lying about his contacts with WikiLeaks. That trial is under gag order, so that might account for the redactions. But you can see tantalizing tidbits, including mentions of British Brexiteer Nigel Farage and Julian Assange. Assange was recently arrested at the Ecuadorian embassy in London. He's facing no charges so far related to the 2016 elections, but you can bet his lawyers are wondering now what's behind all that black ink. So after 2 years, tens of millions of dollars, endless media coverage, where did the story land? Let's talk about it with our panel. Jay Shabria, Republican strategist, former chief of staff for John Kasich, and Patty Solis-Doyle, Democratic strategist, Hillary Clinton's 2008 campaign manager. The burning question for me, you two, is are we done? You know, should we finally stop talking about this? Jay, I know you're the Republican strategist, not me, but it seems clear that the strategy is to not stop talking about it.
Oh, we're not done. There's no way this is done. This is going to be a topic of conversation all the way through the election. Look, I think there's some in the media that are saying that this is a really bad day for Donald Trump. I don't think I share that. Donald Trump gets to get the big headline that there was no collusion, as he says. He gets to tweet out memes about Game of Thrones and those types of things. And then there's this big, meaty worm on the hook that Democrats have to deal with as they go into the 2020 election. Are they going to go down that impeachment path? There's going to be some on the left that say we need to do it and push them to do it. But I think there are some that the Speaker of the House, one of them, say that's not the best way to go. So there's this trap there. And I'm wondering if the Democrats are going to take it. But for the Republicans, is it a matter of saying, see, there's no collusion and being defensive, or going on the offensive about it, saying, what was this about? Oh, no, they're definitely going to go on the offense, right? Because there's, for them, if I'm advising Donald Trump, you got to solidify your base, you got to show that there was nothing there, and that first part of the report says there's no collusion, as they say. The second part's the open part there. That's where Democrats have to deal with it. But you're right, it's got to be a very offensive move for the Democrats, for the Republicans, I should say. And so, Patty, you know, as Jay was saying, yes, there are some Democrats who are saying, you know, we want more documents, we want Barr to testify, we want Mueller to testify. Is that really such a good idea?
Look, I think the Mueller report was clear on the fact that there was no collusion. It was not clear on whether or not there was obstruction. I think Bob Mueller basically punted that to Congress, knowing full well that constitutionally you cannot indict a sitting president. So as Jay mentioned, there are going to be some Democrats on the left who want to prosecute the president on obstruction of justice, and the only way to do that is through impeachment. But having, as a Democrat who has been through impeachment, sometimes it can really backfire. You know, Bill Clinton was impeached in 1998. And he ended up being one of the most popular presidents, winning re-election, obviously. And Democrats won the midterms. Why? Because Democrats, you know, very successfully ran on Republicans overreaching. And there are many people who are serving in Congress now, many Democrats who lived through that, knowing full well that they could overreach here and overplay their hand. So Jay's right. You know, the Democrats are in a little bit of a conundrum, and we'll see how it plays out.
I'm not sure I understand what more some of the Democrats want. They had a 22-month investigation. The ones who want more documents and more testimony, what are they looking for? Why is this not over for them?
They want Donald Trump prosecuted. He's not going to be prosecuted in the courts, but he can be prosecuted in the public arena. But also, the other thing that the report showed is that the president and his staff are liars. You know, instance after instance. You know, the president over the last 2 years lied, and now we have very clear black and white documentation of those lies.
Very quickly, one last thing. One of our regular panelists, David Frum, who couldn't be here tonight, posted online that he still wants to know what he wanted to know in 2016. That, in his words, he says, Putin's Russia obviously has some kind of hold upon the man in the presidency. What's the origin? What's the nature of that hold? It's not a legal question. It's a national security question for him. So very quickly, what questions do you still have, Patty?
We know that the Russians interfered in the U.S. election. We know that they interfered in order to help Donald Trump win the presidency. We still do not know why.
Jay, any last questions?
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that. Look, I think when Donald Trump announced his presidency, he came out there and he wanted to really go against China. There's this school of thought in foreign policy that you can only pick one big enemy of the two, that it's either China or Russia. And I think with Steve Bannon and Donald Trump, they very clearly wanted to go after China and make Russia more closer to the U.S. And I think that's why the Russians said, we want to support this guy. I don't think it's much more complicated than that.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks very much. The report is out. The questions, though, are not done. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.